Good morning students. Welcome in this class. This video is for class 7 subject social science. We are studying about history chapter 6 towns, traders and craftsperson. It is the third lecture of this chapter. Actually, in today's lecture, the chapter will be summarized. Means, in today's lecture, we will discuss about the topics which already we have covered in our two previous lectures. So, let's we start recapitulations of our previous topics. Yes, the topics which are to be that recapitulated today. First one, that is temple towns and pilgrimage center. Second, bronze lost wax technique, a network of small towns, traders big and small, crafts in towns, the architectural splendor of Hampi, gateway to the west, Surat, fishing in troubled waters, Machilipatnam, okay, and administrative centers. So let's start today's discussion. Yes, our first topic, administrative centers. Yes friends, as we have studied in our previous lectures that there are three types of towns which were developing in medieval period. These were administrative centers, pilgrimage centers or you can say temple towns, and third one is their commercial towns. So administrative towns, administrative centers or towns means which are the you can say main attractions of the ruler kingdom, means the towns from where ruler ruled. Okay, so these were administrative towns. Okay, and in which one was important town which was considered as administrative town, that is Thanjavur. Okay, Thanjavur, as we know that capitals of Cholas, that was an administrative center, and that it was located on the you can say near Kaveri rivers or Kaveri rivers at that time, which was perennial river, means which flows throughout the year. Okay, was near this beautiful town Thanjavur, and that in this town a very great temple was built by Raja Rajeshwar. Okay, Raja Rajeshwara temple was built by King Raja Chola, and that was a great example of the architectural style of this administrative town Thanjavur. Okay, and there are palaces with mandpas or pavilions. The town is bustling with markets selling grains, spices, clothes and jewelries. Okay, as we have studied that there were a great halls in these temples or the palaces or pavilions, okay, which were known as mandap. That was very big hall, and there were a great number of shops with a large market was there in Thanjavur, where there was a trading of grains, spices, clothes, jewelries. This is there, and the Salya weavers of Thanjavur and the nearby town of Uriyar are busy producing clothes for flag. Okay, these were two main important you can say communities which were involved in the that activities of weaving clothes, means these were weavers. So name of the weavers communities in Thanjavur, that was the Salya. Okay, so beta, as we know that the chapter will be that tested as pen paper test, then you have to more focus on one marker question or the important points and lines of the chapter. Okay, so sometimes this question is asked, name the weavers communities of the southern part of India during medieval period or in Thanjavur. So the name of the communities was Salya communities. These were the people, those who were involved in the activities of weaving clothes. Okay. Yes, now Swami Malai and the Stapitis at the sculpture or making exquisite bronze idols and tall ornamental bell and lamps. Okay, means these were the communities. Okay, Stapitis and the Swami Malai, these are the two communities which were involved in the activities of making art and craft or the tools or weapons with metal. Okay, so and at that time that you can see a great technique was famous, that was known as lost wax technique, and about this technique we have discussed in our previous lecture also. So Thanjavur, the capital of Cholas, that was the administrative center. Okay, yes, now next one is there that It is also an example of a temple towns which represent a very important pattern of urbanization, the process by which cities develop. Okay, so as I told beta that Thanjavur is not only a you can say administrative town. Okay, as we know that a great temple, Rajarajeshwara temple, was built by Raja Raja Chola, which was also in this town. So, along with this administrative town, Thanjavur was also considered a temple town. Okay, and administrative town, temple town, and you can say commercial town also, because there were a great trading of many things. Okay, so that was an example of where you can say pattern of urbanization. Okay, means this cities or town developed as you can say urban city. Okay, or town. This is there. Temples were often central of the economy and society. As I told how that a you can say great donation in the form of land and money was given by rulers also, and pilgrimages also, and many other the people of the middle class, those who visited those temple to perform their rituals and sacrifices. Okay, so all the rulers, common people, pilgrimages. Okay, so all these people made or gave donations to this temple, so they you can say had a great amount of wealth or main center of economy. Okay, and pilgrimages who that flocked to the temple also made donation. So now pilgrimage center also slowly developed into township, and name of some you can say temple towns like Vrindavan, it is in UP. Okay, and Tiruvannamalai, that is in Tamil Nadu, that they were the example of two temple towns. Ajmer, which is in Rajasthan, was the capital of Chauhan kings in the 12th century and later became the Suba headquarter under the Mughals. Pushkar, which was also has attracted pilgrimages from the ancient times. So beta, there are some examples of the you can say temple town: Vrindavan, Tiruvannamalai, Ajmer and Pushkar. Okay, so you can mention the name of these places in the example of temple towns. Okay, now traders big and small. Trader had to pass through many kingdoms and forests. They usually traveled in caravans and formed guilds to protect their interest. Yes, caravan means they moved in a group with their animals. That is the meaning of caravan. And guild means the group of traders. Okay, so means at the time when trading activities were developing in these towns or during medieval period. So at that time that these traders started to make groups. Okay, which were known as guilds, and they always move in groups which were known as karma. Okay, and the Chetiyars and the Marwari Oswal who went on become the principal trading groups of the country. So here you must know about two main trading groups. Okay, or name of two guilds. So you must know about these were Marwari and Chetiyars. The towns on the west coast were home of Arab, Persians, Chinese, Jewish and that is Syrian Christians traders. Means these were some communities. Means here the people of all category, all religions come here on the western coast like Surat, Bombay for trading purpose. And Indian spices, clothes sold in Red Sea ports were purchased by Italian traders and eventually reached European markets fetching very high profit. As I told you that the Indian spices like black pepper, okay, cardamom, so and that Indian clothes also, especially cotton clothes, were very famous in the world market, very great in demand, okay, in the world market, and these things were that means exported to the you can say a large number of country in the European market. Okay, this is there. Now we will discuss about the crafts in towns. Okay, which types of that crafts, art and crafts work were that developed during medieval period in these towns. So the craft person of Bidar were very so famous for their inlay work in copper and silver that it came to be called Bidri. Yes, as I already told you about the Bidri work, means that is a type of metal work. Means first the tools or weapons are made with the metal, and on this metal weapons or tool that the another metal is used for designing, for making work. Okay, so inlay work. So that type of work was done by the craft people of Bidar place. That's why this that art is known as Bidri work. So what is Bidri work? Means that is a type of you can say exam or art in which the metal tools or weapons are that designed with another metal. Like if that weapon is made up of copper and the silver metal is used to make designing. Panchals and Vishwakarma community consisting of goldsmith, bronzesmith, blacksmith, masons and carpenters were essentials for the building temples. So these were some communities, or you can say those who were involved in that craft work. Means some people were involved in the goldsmith, those who make the that jewelries, bronzesmith, blacksmith, those who make tools from iron, mason, those who were involved in the constructions activities. So many craft that you can say as developed during this time. Weavers, as already we have discussed in this lecture, that the weavers communities were Salyar and Kaikolars. So you must know about the name of these communities, name of the weavers communities, name of the, from what do you know about the Bidri work, from which place that it developed, and tell the names of the occupations which already developed in medieval period. Okay, and name the communities, those who were involved in craft. These were Panchals and known as Vishwakarma. This is there. Okay, now we will discuss about the great example of this architecture style, Hampi. Hampi, located in the Krishna Tungabhadra basin, formed the nucleus of Vijayanagar Empire. Okay, actually we have studied about the northern part of India, and now we will discuss about the southern part. So at that time when Mughal ruled in the northern part of India, so if we talk about the southern part, so at that time that Vijayanagar was a great empire in the southern part, and which was founded by in 1336 by Harihar and Gupta's two ruler brothers. Okay, two brothers who were rulers, and it was very you can say well fortified cities. Okay, for the protections of the, to protect the cities from the attacks of the enemies. Okay, and the city has splendid you can say arches, domes, pillared hall. Okay, niches for holding sculpture. Already I told you about this niches. What is niches? That it in which that you can say a stand is made up of the bricks or cements. Okay, or to hold or keep some objects. This is there like a slab. So means, and where great you can say well planned gardens, orchards are also there. Okay, and with the sculpture motifs such as lotus and corbels. Already I told you motifs means that is there is a pattern of some designs like in the form of flowers, or corbels like the you can say design of leaves in a same pattern. This is there. So means that there was a great example of the architecture which was developed, okay, at that time in Hampi. This is there. Okay, now next is there that we have discussed about the Hampi. Now we will discuss about the gateway to the west, Surat. Okay, Surat in Gujarat, the emporium of western trade during the Mughal period along with Cambay. Okay, present day Khambat and somewhat later Ahmedabad. Okay, yes, but a Surat emporium. Emporium is where there is a great number of objects are sold and purchased. Okay, so that as we know that it was located on the western coast of India, and in the starting time that was a great center of the trading activities. It was known as gateway because that most of the traders that they do trading activities through this sea coast, through the Surat. Okay, that's why it is known as gateway of west. And it was you can say cosmopolitan city means that here people of different castes, different religion, belong to different regions were living there. That is the meaning of cosmopolitan. And the Khaitiyawad, Seth and Mahajan, so these were related to the Surat. You must know about the name of these two categories. Those who were very rich and wealthy communities, or Seth or Mahajan, that was the Khaitiyawad place. Okay, honored in far off market. Okay, that Cairo in Egypt, Basra, Iraq. Okay, Antwerp in Belgium. Okay, means that they were very wealthy peoples and that famous in the world. This is there, and they were a money changer also. gateway to West Surat, 17 Portuguese, Dutch, English trade, factory, warehouses and Surat. So means with the passage of time, many European countries started to establish their trading center in Surat, in which Portuguese were there, Dutch were there, and English means East India Company was also there, and they were, you can say, started a fight to each other to that make the India as their main trading center. And out of all these, like Portuguese, Dutch, the East India Company means the Britain people or English people got success, and they established their rule or trading center in India. According to English Chronicle, that Ovington wrote an account of the past. On average, 100 ships of different countries could be found anchored at the port. So this point can show that how much the busy, you can say, seaport the Surat was there. They're saying that around 100 ships of different country that could be found. So it could show that it was a very busiest port at that time. The textile of Surat were famous for their gold, lace, border, zari, and had a market in West Asia, Africa. Means not only for this trading activities, the cloth, especially that border sari, zari border sari means golden work is there on that. Saris were there, which were very famous in the world market, especially in the western Asia, Africa, and Europe. This is there. So beta, we know that with the passage of time, many new towns developed, and these old towns like Surat and Hampi, they declined. Okay, as I told that many European countries, they were fighting to each other to set up their rule, in which and East India Company got success. Okay, they wanted to set up their factories, their warehouses. Okay, and the loss of market productivity because of decline of Mughal Empire controlled the sea routes by the Portuguese. When there were the Mughal rulers in the northern part, so means they couldn't enter in India. But when the Mughal Empire declined in the northern part, so at that time that the Indian southern part and this coastal was also, you can say, under the control of the Portuguese and some other European countries. Okay, so competition from Bombay, where the East India Company shifted its headquarters in 1668. So at that time, East India Company got the Diwani, you can say, the right of trading in India, and they started or they set up their first factory, okay, or their headquarters in Bombay. So now the Surat that was declined and a new city or town, Bombay, was developed at that time. This is there. Now we will discuss about the fishing in troubled water, Machilipatnam. Okay, that beta we have studied about all the western coast seaport. Now we will discuss about the eastern coast. So Machilipatnam, or that is known as Machilipatnam, that was a very fish port. Means in this area, the most of the people were involved in these fishing activities. Okay, Qutub Shahi rulers, Golconda imposed royal monopolies on this sale of textiles, spices, and other items to prevent the trade from passing completely into the hands of the various East India companies. Okay. So these were some rulers like Qutub Shahi. In the starting, that they got success to protect their eastern coast, okay, or their kingdom, okay, from the ruling of the, you can say, East India Company and the European countries. But later on, they also defeated by this East India Company and East India Company that set up their first factories, first trading center at Machilipatnam. Mughals began to extend their power, to Golconda. Their representative, the governor Mir Jumla, okay, they were also the merchant, and they also played important role. Okay, actually they supported to the Dutch and English against each other. In the starting, that they played important role to protect their kingdom or to protect the eastern coast from the rule of the East India Company. But later on, okay, they were defeated, and that East India Company got success to establish their rule or set up their trading center in the eastern side also, and especially in Machilipatnam. This was there. Yes, okay, we have discussed about this there. So in 17th century, European countries searching for spices, textile popular both in Europe, West Asia. Finally, great Indian traders like Mullah Abdul Ghaffar, okay, Virzi Vora, who owned a large number of ships, competed with them. The European companies used their naval power to gain control the sea route trade, forced Indian traders to work at their agent. English emerged as the most successful commercial and political power in subcontinent. Okay, as I told that many European countries were in search of to set up their trading center in India. So now they in the starting that some rich people, traders, Mullah Abdul Ghaffar, Virzi Vora, okay, that they competed, means they showed a competitions with them. They faced a competition with them, but later on they were defeated by this East India Company because they had a good quality of weapons, good naval power also. Okay, and in the last, the English or East India Company got success that to set up their commercial and political power in subcontinent, means eastern side also. So friends, in this way our today's you can say lecture or chapter is completed. Okay, so in coming you can say next class on Wednesday there will be a pen paper test of this chapter, and you have to prepare this chapter for the all objective questions, 1 marker question which will ask in the form of fill-ups, 1 marker question, okay, or that you can say match the following or true false also can come. So understood beta? So that, and for that reading is must. So read the chapter at least 1 or 2 times, okay, thoroughly, to that get or to know about each and every important point of this chapter. And related to this chapter I will give an assignment also. So this assignment you can see on your AdQuark on your WhatsApp group also. Thank you everyone, and have a nice day.